Unless anybody else needs use of the frequency, the 2 a.m. net will begin in approximately 7 minutes. KC9UDX net control here. Good evening. This is KC9UDX. My name is Matt, and I welcome you to the 2 a.m. net. The purpose of this net is to promote the use of amplitude modulation and also to establish this part of this band as a place for AM activity in this area. Everyone is invited to listen. Licensed amateurs who can do so legally are encouraged to check in. We listen in the AM mode and transmit in the AM mode where possible. If you cannot transmit in AM, we encourage you to listen in AM and transmit in FM. If you are transmitting in FM, please adjust your transmit frequency a couple kCs above or below from our receive frequency. This facilitates the use of slope detection, that is, demodulating your FM signal with our AM receivers. When checking in, please announce your call sign in standard phonetics. Again, this is KC9UDX. My name is Matt, and I will now begin accepting check-ins. Any stations wishing to check in, please come now.
Kilo Alpha 9, Mike Bravo Mike, KC9UDX, and 9CXK. Hi, Matt.
W9JCC, good evening, Matt. Kilo Sugar, Niner Quebec. Good evening, Matt.
All right, that's got to be our hottest start in a long time here. Excuse me. I'd like to recognize and welcome KA9MBM Mike, N9CXK Carol, W9JCC Frank, KS9Q Jim, and do we have anybody else? Come now, please.
Whiskey Bravo 9, Bravo Whiskey Papa.
Got one more, recognizing and welcoming Dave, our most loyal check-in, WB9BWP. Dave, if you ever change your call sign, I'm going to be in trouble because I had it all written out before you got to the 9, I think. Anyway, do we have anybody else? Come now, please. All right, hearing none. As always, not too much to report from my end. It's been a lot of work and work at home, and that's about all. I think YouTube has got about a 8-second delay here tonight. We'll see how well that goes. My video mixer seems to be having a power supply issue or something. So every once in a while the video goes out, but I think the audio should be fine. The only other thing I can think to bring up is the vehicle that I'm rebuilding is coming along slowly, but coming along. Unfortunately, spending a lot more money on parts than I had budgeted and anticipated. I said it before and I'll say it again, don't ever buy a vehicle from Florida if you intend to restore it. Anyway, with that, we'll go to the top of the list. KA9MBM Mike, it's your turn. And hopefully you have something interesting to lead us off with. If not, I'm sure we'll find something here along the way. Go ahead from KC9UDX.
Okay, KC9UDX, KA9MBM. Good evening to everybody on the net. Well, Matt, Jim and I, KS9Q there, we've been talking for the last several days about a Mirage amplifier amplifying the amplitude modulation that we're doing tonight. I hope my audio is clear, Matt. You can comment on that, please. Let me know, because I'm putting 6 watts into a Mirage 160 watt amplifier. The ICOM IC9700 that I use, max power is 25 watts carrier on AM. And with the amplifier, I'm putting about 3/4 of a watt into it, and it boosts the carrier up to around 42 watts. It's an unmodulated carrier for amplitude modulation here. So I did a lot of testing on Sunday to make sure that I was listening to myself with headphones to make sure the audio was clear. But the real test is how somebody like you are receiving me. So I'll throw that back to you, Matt. Please comment on my audio that I've been talking here. KC9UDX, KE9MDM.
All right, thank you, Mike. Fine business. Very interesting. I would say your audio is fine. I don't recall what you sounded like last month to compare. I guess YouTube will be good for that. But your signal strength is up just a hair. I mean, really just a hair. You went from being like a solid 5 to like a 5.1 maybe. So I wonder if you can eke a little bit more out of that safely. I suspect your amplifier is a lot like the one I have here. I don't use it just because I'm probably wrong, but I feel that it has a lot of insertion loss in the receive. That's probably just my imagination. But also it's very difficult to limit the output on this old GON set to satisfy the input on there safely. But you have something solid state that you can get definite changes in output. So I wonder if you can go a notch higher or not. It's perfectly fine the way it is. A little bit of white noise on your audio from here. Nothing objectionable. You're perfectly clear. Your audio is loud. No complaints. I think it's all going good, but I just wonder if you can go any higher with that or not. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But next we'll go to Carol, N9CXK. Go ahead from KC9UDX.
KC9UDX and the 2AM net and 9CXK. Okay, I'll see how good my voice does here. It's pretty bad, but I'm going to talk as long as I can. Well, all I can say is I've been using my RF Concepts amplifier here for the last 2 or 3 nets, and putting 9 watts into it. I don't know what's coming out, but it's substantial, I know that. So I haven't had any complaints. So we worked on it one night here. You guys helped me run the power back on it, and then keep it at a good level for the amp. About 1/4 of what you're expecting to come out. So this is good. We've had a really busy last month. Has been pretty busy here. We've had lots of people come out, and lots of people go out on our boat and have dinner, and it's been pretty nice. Nothing real exciting, but getting a lot done around the yard here, and I'm just about finished with my planting for the year, but then we go and buy more stuff. I got more of that to do, but boy, is it dry. It is so dry here. I have to chisel up the ground in a few places. So I'm hoping to just finish up with all that coming up here. And my wife has some of her high school friends coming tomorrow, so we'll be hitting the water again. That should be pretty nice. I think we'll have food and drinks out on the boat, and looks like the weather will be perfect and warm enough. Had our jackets on the last time out on the boat, but it still wasn't too bad. Matt, when you first came on and now, your radio sounds perfect tonight. Haven't heard any dropouts or fade-outs or anything. Sounding real good. I suppose it's a little cooler in the shack, so everything's happy there. And, sounded good. Don't have any real radio reports. I haven't been on too much, although I did notice when the solar flares hit and kind of wiped out a few of the bands for a while and made things kind of unpleasant on the Badger Weather Net and some other places. I think that's all over with for now. I think the sun is supposed to be fairly quiet for a bit here. And, yeah, really, I'm not changing anything around here. Everything's working good. Just, still haven't heard you on the 10-meter net there, Matt. 10-meter sideband nets. Haven't heard anybody new on there lately, but still got a pretty good crowd. It's okay. So I think I'll turn it over to you, and of course we're all waiting for Steve to show up. N9CXK. Over.
All right, thank you, Carol. Fine business. Yeah, it sure has been dry. It's amazing. We went from wetter than wet to drier than dry, and the mosquitoes don't seem to care. It's even worse than that. The mosquitoes don't seem to mind the wind. They don't seem to mind the heat. They're just there all the time. But you couldn't ask for better weather for what you're doing. And I'm not going to complain either. It's not so bad for working out in the driveway either. The radio is behaving, and I can never figure out any rhyme or reason to why. There are some nights when it runs like this all night with no issue, and I'm not running the fan in the back. The temperature in this room doesn't change a whole lot. Tonight I'm running the fan. I have better results more often than not with that, but sometimes it doesn't run good with the fan, and sometimes it runs better without. I don't know if I just found a sweet spot in the tuning. Sometimes I wonder if the meter is stuck because I'm not talking loud enough and so it's not moving. But like I say, I can't find any rhyme or reason to when it acts up and when it doesn't. I still haven't yet to take it apart and put the new tube in. I probably could have done that at some point over the weekend. Maybe this next weekend, if it rains, I should do that. And I haven't been on the 10-meter net since Pancho was running it a very, very long time ago. I do not have an HF antenna anymore. I don't remember if I mentioned that last month or the month before or whenever it happened, but my antenna came apart. I think half of the dipole is still up there and that's it. The feed line is down and the other half of the dipole is probably down. The rope that supports the dipole is still up. When I put that antenna up the last time, I did something a little bit different. I ran a rope from one tree to the other and then I tied the antenna to the rope. I got tired of my antenna being torn apart by the trees. It didn't matter what I did to alleviate the stress on the antenna, but it kept coming apart. And the rope has not come apart. The rope is handling the stress just fine. But the antenna came apart, came off the rope. Not sure why. Probably just stress from the wind. And I kind of bundled that up and put it away. I have not had any time to attempt to do anything with it. Hopefully winter holds off for a while, so I can kind of get some things done around here. But I don't see getting everything done in time for winter this year, unfortunately. My daughter's antenna is up in the trees in the front yard. That is a 10-meter antenna. I suppose I could use that. But I'm not brave enough to stand out in the driveway with the radio on battery power on Friday night. The mosquitoes are bad enough in the afternoon. Other than that, Next we'll go to Frank, W9JCC from KC9UDX.
Okay, thanks Matt, KC9UDX and what, W9JCC, and good evening to everybody that checked in. First of all, Mike, your audio sounds just great here to me, no problem. And whatever you did sounds real good. I'm running a TS2000 here at 25 watts, and got a dual band up at the top of the tower. It's not up too high, probably up around 50 feet or so. And I'm about done with the garden. I think I got one tomato left on the tomato plants. I picked my last zucchini, and picked the last 2 cucumbers the other day. I made a big garden salad this afternoon. It will last me a couple of days. And I guess I have enough zucchini to make some more zucchini bread. I'll have to shred some more. And that'll be about it. We'll take the rain barrels down pretty soon, because I won't need them anymore. So maybe I'll do it when the weather's nice. Yeah, I haven't had too much good luck with antennas in the trees. I put up about a 560-foot loop here about, 8 or 10 years ago. And it stayed up for a couple of years, but eventually one of the wires broke. I was just using number 14 house wiring solid copper. And when it broke, I just took it all down. I got a lot of number 14 here in case I need it. Okay, I don't have too much more. Back to you now, KC9UDX, W9JCC.
All right, thank you, Frank. Fine business. My wife has been harvesting from the garden. I don't know exactly what she's getting or what we've got, but today was carrots. She filled up a 5-gallon bucket halfway with carrots and complained to me that it should have been a full bucket, except that our daughter has been stealing the carrots. But she chopped those up and froze them, I guess, which that's the last time I will have anything to do with them. I don't like cooked vegetables. I would rather eat them raw, and I didn't get a chance to eat any. My HF antenna has been rebuilt. I don't know how many times. I couldn't tell you how many times it's come apart. I think it's number 12, but it's stranded. And I never have an issue with the wire itself. It's always at the connections. It doesn't matter how I try to relieve the strain or whatever. It always ends up coming apart at the connections. And I guess I never really put too much effort into engineering something that would probably be a little better. But everything I've done so far lasts maybe a year, sometimes 2 years, sometimes a month. There's just too much wind here. I don't remember the length. It's got to be around 100 feet, and it's just stretched between 2 trees. It's a non-resonant 80-meter antenna. It's deliberately non-resonant. It's right out of the ARRL antenna manual. With the tuner, it tunes up well, even without the tuner, with my old tube radios with the pi output. It tunes up well everywhere, almost everywhere. There's a couple places where it doesn't, but otherwise it does real well when it works. I always wanted to put up a pole in the middle, turn it into an inverted V. Maybe a permanent tower or something. Don't know if I'll ever get around to doing that. And next, I should say, well, I'll do signal reports here after we get through everybody. Next we'll go to Jim, KS9Q. It's your turn from KC9UDX.
Okay. KC9UDX and the net. This is KS9Q. Good evening to everybody. And we are sitting here in the basement. I am also running the Mirage amp coming off of an ICOM 705. I would say probably driving it with about 4 watts and getting about 30 watts of carrier out. So that's it's looking clean on the scope. I'm using the other ICOM radio, just watching it on the scope, and it actually looks pretty good. It's not flat topping or anything like that. Tweaked the audio EQ just a little bit, and hopefully that is working okay. Let me take the amp out of the circuit here for a second. Okay, this is without the amp in the circuit, and this is with the amp back in the circuit. So I'm guessing probably about 100 to 120 PEP, something like that. I'll have to swipe the bird from the shop. There's a PEP function on that I can use if I need to. Other than that, doing a lot of cleaning out in the basement here, just trying to get rid of some stuff. I put together some new shelves, and we are just trying to do a little bit of not quite minimalist, but just trying to clear some workspace in anticipation of winter projects and all that good stuff. That's all I got for this go-around. Back to net. This is KS9Q.
All right, thank you, Jim. I will tell you, you are a solid 10 out of 10 with the amplifier, and you are a 7 without the amplifier. And from here, that adds a little bit of noise, but obviously we're so close it doesn't matter anyway. What else was I going to say about that? Oh, I used to have I still have it. I have a modulation monitor just for that purpose. I do not have it in the station anymore. There's not enough room. It's in the rack on my workbench, collecting dust. That was very handy. And I would probably want to get that set up again, or at least the scope. I've got both here just for this purpose, if I ever decide to turn that amplifier on. But I don't see myself doing that. Someday I would kind of like to modify this radio so it has separate antenna connectors for transmit and receive, and do something completely different. Maybe even different antennas. Anyway, good luck cleaning. I'm sure you will accomplish that. I never do. I clean and organize, and then I find ways to clutter everything up again. Problem for me is I can start projects and I can never finish them. There's always some emergency, or I just completely run out of time and I can never get back to it. Anyway, next we'll go to Dave, WB9BWP from KC9UDX.
Well, good evening, everyone. Everyone has really good signal tonight, too. And the stand's not noisy or anything. And even that signal's good. Hey, that, hasn't been doing its thing there, so that's good. When Jim takes the amplifier out at this location, he was just barely copyable. But I'm, I guess, a little more out of the way than some of you guys, so I guess that can be expected. Matt, you mentioned about changing calls and stuff. On the rookie net, which is going on this very moment, one of the guys that's net control, he went through in like his first year, he's a new hand, he must have changed his call 3 or 4 times, and it got so good, because I was doing the net for the first couple of months. I didn't recognize his voice yet because he was so new, and it's like, oh, a new guy. Oh no, you're not a new guy. But he said he's done now. He's not changing calls anymore. Route 66 special events stuff is going on this week, and I see in spotting there's a couple of stations out there on 40 meters. And unfortunately, like talking about wires, my vertical was acting up, and so I've been going out there and twiddling on that, trying to get everything straight. And then I thought, well, hey, as long as I'm measuring that, I should check the other stuff too. And my main wire, which is an off-center set, going, wow, that was really weird on 80 and 40. And then I go out there one day, this rope is loose, and I'm working on tightening that rope up, and then I look over, and I was like, oh, why is that wire just kind of dangling in the air instead of connected to the rest of the antenna? And at the short end of that off-center set, a couple of years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago actually, I raised the antenna off, so I changed where the feed point is in the tree. Stand by just a moment. And so, got a good location for it. I raised it up. It probably went up a good 10 feet. But of course that changed where the wire is coming out, the short end heading toward the house. And maybe that's not a good spot, because that now has, the tree has broken that wire like 3 times in the last, year and a half or so. And so it's like, okay, I think I got to look at moving that. And so unfortunately, I can't do much on 40 or 80 right now, because any of the antennas I have that do that don't want to do that right now. Always stuff talking about projects, always stuff to do. And inside, you can't even talk about those. I've been cleaning up stuff too, like Jim, but what happens is by the time I reach like the end point, the beginning point is all messed up again. Anyway, that's enough for this round. So, Mirage amplifiers, let me just say this. You guys are sounding good. Go back a number of years, MRAC repeater was an ICOM repeater, which was an absolutely horrendous design on that box. And we had a Mirage repeater amplifier, which really is just a regular amplifier with a much bigger heat sink on it. And one day, that amplifier decided it wanted to work too well. And so it just started spitting signals out, walking up the 2-meter band, and then it would go back down to the bottom and keep walking back up the band again. And we were bringing up everything within a number of miles here. Needless to say, we got rid of all of that stuff, but anyway, that's my experience with Mirage amplifiers. That's enough of this. This is WB9 BWP.
All right, thank you, Dave. Fine business. I got to say, that's a pretty funny story. Would have been interesting to hear that happening. I can't even imagine. Well, I got to tell you, I can picture the guy you're talking about changing his call sign, and I only remember that he was W9MKE for a while, and I cannot recall his name. And yeah, it was kind of I don't know. I'm glad to hear he stopped doing it. He was doing it too much. That's why mentally I just quit trying to figure it out, and that's why I can't remember his name. Well, while you were talking, Dave, I took my amplifier in and out of the circuit here and could not discern a difference, so maybe it's all in my imagination that there's receive insertion loss. So maybe at some point I'll put it back in, play around with that again. But I guess you guys can tell me if you notice anything different now versus before. And who knows, maybe I just improved everything because I noticed one of the connectors was loose. I don't think it was electrically loose, but it's mechanically loose from the panel. And now it's tighter, but who knows, maybe it was a problem. But we are at the bottom of the list. Do we have any more check-ins for the 2 a.m. net? Come now, please. All right, hearing none. I think what I'm going to do here is open up the squelch and try that again. Do we have any more check-ins for the 2 a.m. net? Come now, please. Well, I hear something out there in the distance, but I don't believe it's somebody trying to check in. It's probably my receive bandwidth picking up something else local. But I didn't hear anybody, so we'll go back to the top of the list. Mike, you started up a good conversation. Good topic. KA9MBM from KC9UDX.
KC9UDX, KE9MBM. So Matt, I increased the power. I think it's probably like 5 watts now driving the amplifier. So you'll have to let me know how it is. And then I'm going to take the amplifier out. So stand by. Okay, this is my signal without the amplifier. And you can make note of what the signal strength is. So this is what I've been checking into the net the last several months with this amount of power. It's like 25 watts carrier. So I'm going to put the amplifier back in. Stand by. Okay, the amplifier is back in. So, man, how is my signal and how's the audio quality? From when I first checked in, it was like 1 watt driving the amplifier. Now it's probably like 5 watts driving it. And also I want to make note that Jim KS9Q, when he took his amplifier out, I could hardly copy him, so he was like way in the mud. So his amplifier made a real big difference. So Matt, I'll throw it back to you. You can let me know how my signal was with and without the amplifier. As far as carrots and gardening, yeah, we got green peppers, carrots, and we have the big tomatoes and the little cherries. And in fact, I had a bunch of carrots from the garden there, raw. I like them that way too. I cut the ends off and then clean them real good under the sink with a brush. They're very tasty. Okay, back to you, Matt. Let me know how the without the amplifier, with the amplifier, and then at this increased drive into the amplifier that I'm having right now. Well, I'll throw back to KC9UDX, neck and drop, KE9MDM.
All right, thank you, Mike. And I'll tell you, what you've got going now is a definite improvement. You've gone from a 5 to a 6, and your audio has gotten a lot better. Now that's just from my location. It's going to be different for everybody. But what's interesting is your signal without the amplifier is identical to your signal with the amplifier before you turned up the power. So I would assume you're running a higher output from the radio when you take off the amplifier. And I think you're getting exactly the same output from the radio as you were with the amplifier before you turned it up. So you may have a little bit more headroom that you could turn it up even higher. I don't know. But like I say, it's sounding good. Really good the way it is. Not full quieting here, but close enough. And next we'll go to Carol, N9CXK from KC9UDX.
KC9UDX and the net, N9CXK. Well, okay, I guess I got to differ. After Mike turned his amplifier up, or his power up there, he's got a little fuzz on his signal now. It was clearer before. I mean, I would say set it at 3 watts and see what the difference is. To me, it sounds not as clear as it was when you first were operating. I thought it sounded really nice when you first came on, but don't pay attention to the signal strength too much. Outside of Jim, the amplifier off, Jim, you're S5 out here, and when you put the amplifier on, you're an S9. Something like that. So that would be a tremendous change in signal, but that relies on the calibration of my meter here, which probably doesn't mean anything. But I would say, I don't know what the input of your amplifier is. My amplifier is a 40 to 50 watt input, so I'm running right about a quarter of that, and that's what everybody kind of agreed was the correct thing to do. So. That's my 2 cents worth, but my shack is quiet. There's no noise here, and I can hear every little thing. And Matt, your signal just continues to be great. You're just like 10 over 9, 15 over 9 with the radio running stock there. Yeah, I was just at a friend's house, and he's got a Gonset communicator sitting on his bench that he will never work on. So I guess I gotta start preparing an offer for him one of these days, and then finding another room to put the Gonset communicator in. But it's sitting there; it's not getting any dirtier, so I might have to see what he would take for it. Now let's see. I'm not using my receiver preamp. I don't need that for anybody. Everybody's loud and clear. But yeah, Jim, that was an amazing difference on your signal. And everybody else sounds great. I can't complain. It's AM, you know. It's not FM.
Push to start the game.
And audio quality's not going to be quite that, but it's very good. Everybody's very good. So, let's see. Is there anything else to talk about? Just that there was a lunar eclipse on the 7th. But I didn't see it because nobody on this side of the Earth could see it. But the people, I guess the people in Australia and out in the Pacific and most other places like Africa and Asia, they could see it. A blood red moon. I think we have about a month to go until we'll be able to see a lunar eclipse like that. So that is worth looking forward to. And we'll what's the other exciting thing? Oh, I had my eyes examined today, and they're just the same as they were 40 years ago. That is good. N9CXK. Over.
Well, thank you, Carol. It is not quiet in here, and that may be why I'm not a very good judge of audio. It's possible Mike is flat topping a little bit, but if so, I can't tell. And I'll tell you what, you're very lucky if your eyes have not changed in 40 years. I had LASIK surgery 25 years ago, and it was just this year I started to notice pretty significant changes. And it may get to a point where I go back and have it done again. The muscles in my eyes still seem to be working, but my lens shapes have changed for some reason. And I was reading there's something even better than LASIK now. But I suspect that, with all the government bureaucracy and stuff, that won't be available until long after it's beneficial to me. And next we'll go to Frank, W9JCC from KC9UDX.
Okay, KC9UDX and the net W9JCC. First of all, on Jim's test with and without the amplifier, he went from, of course, he's pretty close to me here, so his signal's going to be pretty strong. He thought he's the same strength as Matt with the amplifier on. Jim, you were 30 over 9 with the amp and 15 over 9 when you took it off, so pretty significant change there. And Mike, when you checked in, you were 5 and 9. You made a double test, intermediate test. You went up to, I think you boosted the power up a little bit. You went up to 5 over 9. And then you took the amplifier out and you went back to 5 and 9, as near as I can tell here. And, okay, and the eye surgery there, Matt, I've got that coming up pretty soon. I haven't scheduled it, but I know I'm going to need it. She's been, my eye doctor's been telling me that I'll be asking for it, and it's probably going to happen pretty soon, but I've got a different surgery I've got to do here in another month and a half, so that's got to come first, and then we'll see about the eye surgery. Okay, I think I'm going to pull out of here. I'm getting to that point where I go to bed early now, and don't stay up too late, so I wish you guys all 73s. Everybody have a good rest of the week, and we'll turn it back to net control. KC9UDX, W9JCC, 73s.
All right, thank you, Frank. Well, I wish you well with the surgery. No matter what the surgery is, that's always kind of scary. But they get better and better, so probably nothing to worry about. And I'll say 7-3 to you. I cannot stay up late anymore either, but that is due to my employer. For some reason, the people in charge wish to punish the rest of us by making us wake up at 3:30 in the morning for a regular first shift, which is absolutely absurd. And I guess it could be worse. A lot of people trying to convince me to go to We Energies, where the hours are even worse. I don't think I would do that. And next we have Jim, KS9Q from KC9UDX.
KC9UDX and the group. This is KS9Q. And like when you brought the power up a little bit, I think you were just starting to get into that flat topping range. I'm actually watching the scope as I'm adjusting power here, and I'm at 20 watts carrier now, up about 25 watts carrier, and that's output from the amp. Actually, it looks the cleanest just under that 25 watt mark. So the linear amp, I am in the sideband mode too, so it gives it just a little bit of a delay before it unkeys. I'd have to look and see if that changes the biasing of the amp at all. I suspect there might be a little bit of an adjustment to that just to keep the transistor in its sweet range. But as long as it's sounding okay on your end, we'll call it good. And I think I just had a little power drop there, but I think I probably just unkeyed my mic a little bit. The 705's got a little handheld speaker microphone, and it sounds halfway decent, but tweaking with the adjustments definitely helped. The Mirage has a preamp on it, but when I turn mine on, the signal actually drops. So either the relay's got dirty contacts or the transistor is not amplifying. So it's a commonly available transistor. Sooner or later I'll get around to taking that apart and fixing it. Back to that. This is KS9Q.
All right, thank you, Jim. And you reminded me I'm still running the built-in speaker on this radio, and that does not have the best audio, so I shouldn't be making comments about anybody's audio anyway. Sooner or later I'll get the big speaker hooked back up again. And, well, we're moving right along here. I turned on my scope, or tried to turn it on, just because you mentioned yours, and it took me a while to find the power switch. The scope that I have now is a Tektronix 465B. It is not the one I'm accustomed to using, but neither of those are in good operation anymore. But this one is unplugged, and I don't know how long it's been that way. I think if it was plugged in, I would be slightly tempted to turn on my amplifier. But I suppose that's probably a very unwise thing to do, seems how the radio has been behaving. But next we'll go to Dave, WB9BWP, from KC9UDX.
I am now using different microphones. So if anybody has any comments, I don't have everything dialed in yet. It's not necessarily going to be used on this radio much, but I gotta try it out and make sure that it's really working. So I'm giving that a shot here. Let's see, Matt, you mentioned that was William, the MKE call. Now it's WM9H. Because he said that the MKE people kept wanting to call him Mike. I'm not sure about that, but anyway. But yes, it reminded me that there's two, because he went through a couple of call signs. But Carter, who is now ABMC, I can't even tell you this, he had like 3 or 4 previous calls. But yes, an interesting note, Carter got AB9C, which is a vanity. A friend of mine got the assigned call of AB9CD. Can't beat that one. And Mike, yes, I did not detect much change at all with the amp in and out. Probably because of the higher power of the radio. And just whatever our locations are compared to between that.
You can't go over that.
Yeah.
That's the end of the game over there on the left.
Anyway, I guess that's about it on this round.
Yeah, go over and from the other side.
Microphone. Who knows what it might be someday, Mike, on the other end. So, I'll just send it back. This is WC9, EWP.
All right, thank you, Dave. Well, I got to tell you, I had to turn the volume way up. Way up. So that's what's different. And I did not realize Carter changed his. I have only known him as W9ERR, I think. I always thought that was a good call. I've never been tempted to do the vanity call thing. I don't know. I always thought if you're going to get a serial call as good as KC9UDX, why would you want to change it anyway? The only problem with my call is that dog people think I'm a dog person, I guess. And they say, "Wow, you've had 9." And I say, "No, I really have no idea what you're talking about." I could have taken the C out of my call. A lot of people suggested that I do that at one point because the guy who had K9UDX gave it up and the waiting period passed. But I will leave that for the dog people. That would be even worse than from that perspective than what I have now. And I don't even remember how it went. Me and Mylan N9 IDX used to have something we did back and forth because I was UDX and he was IDX. I don't even remember. That was a long time ago. And we are at the bottom of the list again. Let's see if we have any more, last minute check-ins for the 2 a.m. net. Come now, please. All right, hearing none, we'll go back to the top of the list, and we'll call this the 7-3 round. And as always on the 2 a.m. net, there is no need to say 7-3 and duck out. You can talk as long as you like on the 7-3 round. In fact, it's encouraged. And we'll start out with Mike. KA9MBM, it's your turn on the 7-3 round from KC9UDX.
Okay, fine business, Matt. KC9UDX, KE9MBM. Okay, I backed it down a little bit. I was running 10% of what the IC97 puts out on AM mode into the amplifier, and yeah, it's possible it might be clipping. So I backed it down from 10 down to 8. When I first checked in the net, I was at 6%, which is about 3/4 of a watt. And so, and I appreciate that. But it's a comment on it because that's the only way you can tell. I don't have a service monitor or oscilloscope here to really look, other than I have one of those SCR receivers. I have the RSPDX. on Sunday I was trying to look at it, and I could see, I reached the point where it was clipping, and I was listening to myself with the headphones and, kind of listening there. But, that's here. It's real close proximity, so, it's really better off to get, reports, from everybody on the net here. So hopefully this is better. I shouldn't be clipping. But it's increased from when I first checked in the net, and I decreased since the last go-around. So let me know how this signal is. And, I kept my call letters. This is my original novice call back from 1980. So I kept it. Now Jim, KS9Q, he used to be WB9TOB for eons, and then when he got his extra class, he decided to change it. And I still can't get his old call letters out of my head. It's stuck there. So I have to think for a second when I go back to him. Sometimes we talk every day and every morning on his way to work on Waukesha 220 repeater, and sometimes I have to think for a moment what his current call letters are. I don't know, maybe it's old age, I don't know, but his old call letters are just stuck in my head. And that's the reason why I never changed my callers. I just left them. Everybody, knew my call letter. Call change it. Put the QFL cards printed up. And Dave, that microphone that you put on there, your volume is way down, and I had to turn my radio up too. So I don't know if you increase the mic gain on that microphone or what, but it was down a little bit. The signal was good, but the volume from your audio was down. So with that, I really don't have too much. Like I said, just fooling around here with the amplifier. Thanks to everybody for giving me reports. That's great. And Jim and that gives us something to talk about tomorrow morning on his way to work. We can talk about garage amplifiers again. The 9-1 repeater years ago, they kind of had throughout the years they had different hardware in there, and sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad. They had a lot of problems, I remember back in the 1980s with intermod, with paging services and stuff, getting into the receiver of the repeater out there, and then back then they weren't running PL either. They were running just carrier squelch, so there was a lot of issues back then in those days. So running PL squelch makes a world of difference. Okay, I'm going to tie the knot here, and I'll be done talking here, so I'll say 73 to everybody on the net. And we'll talk to you next month. And so it's back to you, Matt. Net control, KC9UDX, KA9MBM.
All right, thank you, Mike. And, I think you sound fine. Signal is down. I did not write it down. I think it was maybe 5 3/4. But if you're flat topping now, I won't be able to tell. Otherwise, I wish you luck with that. And if you have a scope or access to one, it's very handy for that. You can couple the scope to your radio without ever disconnecting anything. I've done that. And it actually works really well. My modulation meter can connect directly to the radio or or receive from an antenna. I've done that both ways. And I've used the oscilloscope with another receiver, but it works best just directly coupled. Wrap a wire around the feed line and put that in the input. Excuse me. But I will say 7-3 to you. And we'll go next to Carol. It's your turn on the 7-3 round N9CXK from KC9UDX.
KC9UDX and the conclusion of the 2 AM net N9CXK. Okay, very good. Yeah, Mike, that sounds better. You turn it down and there's just a touch more sharpness to your voice there. I think that sounds pretty good. Signal strength, everybody's signal strength is good. I don't know. I don't think I'd worry about it too much. Sounds nice. Boy, I would have never relinquished the MKE call, and even the ERR call I thought was kind of neat. But the MKE call, you could go a long time without being able to snare that. But, yeah. I can't really listen to that guy anyways talking. To me, he just talks goofy all the time. Yeah, I have a hard time listening to that. So I don't think I have anything else to add. My voice is going pretty fast here. And gonna lay down and get ready for tomorrow. I have a bunch of chatty girls here tomorrow. So it'll be kind of fun. And then I'm meeting somebody from We Energies that I used to work with. I'm meeting him on Thursday morning for breakfast. That will also be fun. But I don't know what you're talking about as far as going to work for We Energies and having to work long hours. I don't have a clue what that's all about. I was there 43 years. I only worked overtime when I wanted to, and when it was necessary, if people were out of power or generator was coming online, and yeah, we'd work all night, but other than that, you never had to. 8-hour days was the standard. The last few years of my career, I just worked 9-hour days because I could. And, yeah, there was no push to make anybody work long hours. In summertime, a lot of guys work 410s, or they'll work their 5/8s, but nothing unusual, really. When we were testing underground cables, people were out of power, so yeah, if you had to work 16 hours, that's what you'd work and get it done. But there was always a way to call for relief and somebody to come in and take your place. I don't think that should be an issue at all. If you could find a job at We Energies, it sounds like it'd be a lot better than where you are now. Things are pretty cut and dried over there and pretty stable. Everybody have a good Tuesday night and the rest of the week. I think my schedule's pretty packed the rest of the week, so I'll look forward to seeing some of you guys on the 10-meter net on Friday. KC9UDX, back to you, and 9CXK, 7-3, guys.
All right, thank you, Carol. I don't envy you having to do that tomorrow, but maybe it's not as bad as I'm imagining. No, what they're trying to convince me to do is go to the power plant, where apparently they work rotating 12-hour shifts. And everybody that's doing it seems to like it. But I don't think I could do that anymore. It really took a toll on me working third shift. I finally got off of that a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I'm not even sure anymore. But that was a really bad thing. I can't imagine doing that once a month for a week or whatever, 2 weeks, whatever it is. I don't know exactly what they do. But they rotate. And I'll say 7-3 to you, Carol. Next, we'll go to Jim, KS9Q. It's your turn on the 7-3 round.
Hang on a second. Yeah, if you're an electrician, you go to the power plant first. That's where you always go first. But as soon as the guys can get out of there, they bid out to maintenance or construction. Some guys are able to do it in a couple of years. Some guys it takes 5-6 years. But yeah, everybody gets out of there. But yeah, power plant is that way. You're rotating shifts, and that's the way everybody works. So I guess yeah, if that's where you're going to go in, that would be your lot. Take care. 7-3 Midnight CXK.
All right. Yeah, like I say, I'm pretty sure I won't be doing that. Unless things get really bad and I'm desperate, that's not going to happen. I already have a 45 to an hour minute drive. That would be an hour to hour and a quarter. Plus the goofy hours, I can't do it. But like I say, if things get bad, I may have to. I don't know. But anyway, I'll send it to you, Jim, KS9Q from KC9UDX.
Okay, well, it was good hearing everybody on the net tonight, and I will pass along my 73. Everybody have a good week, and we will do it again next month. And everybody enjoy. Matt, your radio did real well tonight. No problems, no dropouts, anything. It looks good on the scope. Yeah, it's working great. 7-3, we'll throw it back to that. This is KS9Q.
All right, thank you, Jim. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to not put that tube in. I'm going to see if this stays the same next month. I suspect it will not. I don't know if you see what I see when I first start to transmit. My output meter starts out real low and then gradually rises. But it doesn't cut out like it did, obviously. And I'll just leave it the way it is. I'll run exactly the same way next month, and we'll see what happens. But I got a sneaking suspicion it will not do so well. I don't think I've ever gotten 2 months in a row like that before. But like I say, I'll wait putting that tube in. I'll do it after next month's net. I'll have more opportunity to do that kind of stuff later in the year anyway. But I will say 7-3 to you. And next we'll go to Dave. It's your turn on the 7-3 round. WB9 BWP from KC9UDX.
And by just a moment. Okay, there. That's better. I'm back on the original microphone. I had to get the monitor on. Anyway, yes, thanks for the report. What I got to do is I got to spend some more time fiddling, and I can, for this particular radio, I can use the software to remember different settings. So, good to know. And that's what it looked like when I was trying to tune everything up. But it's like, well, let's give it a shot and see what actually goes on here. Let's see, yeah, call signs. I never changed mine. And now it just confuses everyone. It's good in contest because the guys that want to talk really fast, it makes them slow down because they just get everything all jumbled up. And nowadays it's almost unique. So, we'll just leave it that way. And let's see. And nothing else special going on. Next Saturday, not this Saturday, next Saturday is the MRAC meeting. Somewhere out in the warehouse at HRO. I guess we'll get to see what kind of space they've carved out back there. The classroom and the warehouse right behind it, the classroom, is now no longer part of the store. And it's also in the afternoon, because that would have been Superfest. No Superfest this year. And anyway, that day would have been Superfest, and there was going to be testing going on, and since they had already advertised that, they didn't want to change, so testing in the morning and meeting is in the afternoon. 1 o'clock we'll start. And Peoria Hamfest the weekend after that in Belvedere on the 28th. I'm not sure if I'm going down there or not. Haven't decided yet. Anyway, I guess that covered everything. So, 73 to everybody that's still tuned in. And if nothing else, we'll see you back here next month. This is WB9BWP.
Steve, before I say 7-3 to Dave, Steve, go ahead. Oh, I don't know if you can hear me. N9FSE from KC9UDX. All right. Well, maybe I'm hearing things, but I'm pretty sure I heard Steve in there, way in the weeds. Well, I'll say 7-3 to you, Dave, but thanks for the heads up. I was looking forward to possibly going to the next meeting because I haven't been to one in so long. And I especially want to see what the new arrangements are, but afternoon is probably, unless we have foul weather, I think the afternoon is going to be kind of out of the question for me, unfortunately. But yeah, the interesting thing about AM is I have all kinds of volume I can turn up here when somebody's quiet. Of course, you're not quiet anymore, but what I'm getting at here is just that what's annoying is when somebody else transmits, they are blaring, blaring loud. That's the consequence of AM. And you reminded me of something. There's a huge advantage in a pileup to having a long call. You get these guys with the 1x2 or the 2x1. They have to say their call sign 3 times rapidly, and then I'm finishing up my call sign, and you always hear the DX station saying station ending in X-ray. So that's always an advantage. I don't have to repeat my call 3 times rapid. But the problem is, and you kind of alluded to this, I suppose with a WB call you don't ever get this, but I've gotten it a lot with the KC call, where I've been accused of being a technician and I need to get off the bands. And that's always been extra disappointing just because I've never been a technician. I got a technician call sign by consequence of taking the test for general on the same day as the technician. I could have probably requested a vanity call, but otherwise I was stuck with a 2x3, and that's what I got. Anyway, I have to get going. I will say 7-3 to you, Dave, and everybody else. And as always, thank you guys for being here. We wouldn't have a net without you. And I will say this concludes the 2 a.m. net. Feel free to rag chew on this frequency after my transmission. We will meet again on the 14th of October. Yes, it will be October. And we'll be well into the month. We will be getting out of this early in the month thing. The earliest in the month that the 2 a.m. net can ever be is the 8th. We had that in July. And this month we're on the 9th, but next month will be on the 14th. Anyway, until then, this is KC9UDX 73, and good night.